principles of a successful regional audiovisual ecosystem, and it is Tampere we're talking now. Program Director of Film Tampere, please welcome Fanny Heinonen.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. I have my microphone working. Good day. Okay, one more time, people. One more time. I hope that you have enjoyed this fantastic conference so far, because I certainly have. I want to warmly welcome you one more time to Tampere in behalf of Business Tampere and Film Tampere. But before I dive into my presentation, I want to thank Aki Karjalainen and his team for putting up this amazing event. I want to thank YLE and of course congratulate YLE for 100th anniversary. Let's give applauses one more time. Yes, my name is Fanny Heinonen and I'm the Program Director of Film Tampere and I work at Business Tampere. And my today's presentation is about principles of a successful regional audiovisual ecosystem like mentioned. So, of course, I will introduce myself and Film Tampere. And after that, I will share some practices that we've learned over the course of Film Tampere's history. Then we will visit the changing market landscape. However, we've talked about that in the morning sessions, but I will introduce our perspective to that. And then I will wrap up with the principles for navigating the change, or I would say the new normal. So yes, I have quite a diverse background. I graduated as a film and TV producer and worked over 12 years in the private sector in an independent film and television making, having very different kind of roles ranging from makeup designer to casting director and from a company founder to my current position at Film Tampere. I would say that I work in the intersection of public and private and creativity and business. Somehow I like those spaces where blueprints don't yet exist and I get myself in trouble. So that's one of the things that I hate and love about myself. But Film Tampere. YLE used to have this big drama series called Uusi Päivä, New Day. And like every great story has to end, so did Uusi Päivä. Uusi Päivä shootings and the whole production was held at Tampere Tohloppi Studios, YLE's studios. But in 2017,
Save the best club.
They were finished. So what that meant for the region... Oh, seems like we're having some fireside chat. Thank you. So what that meant for the regional audiovisual industry, at the same time, the private sector got a little bit of room to grow, but also dozens and hundreds of freelancers and talents left unemployed. And that triggered conversation between the city and the industry that, hey, something should be done. We have this amazing amount of talent and knowledge in this region. How do we take care of that? And 2018, Film Tampere was born. The Film Commission of Tampere was born. So what is Film Tampere? Film Tampere is an audiovisual development program granted by the city of Tampere and administrated by Business Tampere, which is the regional business and development agency that I work at. We have services ranging from business matchmaking to our cornerstone service, production incentive. Production incentive is a reimbursement of occurred cost within the region, production cost. I will circle back to that later. But through that production incentive, we have supported over 160 projects so far, feature films, non-scripted, documentaries, VFX projects, and even our first AI-driven VR production. Of those 160 projects, 12 have been international, either co-productions between two different countries, of course, Finland as one country, or big Hollywood productions coming to Tampere to shoot or do post-production. Together with the city of Tampere, we have paid or invested, I like more the word invested, 6.6 million euros until this day, and generated direct incomes over 54 million euros. So I will do the math. The return on investment is over 8 times, which is in the creative sector pretty good, I would say. Film Tampere is a very agile and small team, so we have had to learn to scale our impact. We have built strategic relationship from Mumbai to Los Angeles, from London to Stockholm, and from Tokyo to Paris. And with that being said, we have also produced, actually I calculated that yesterday, we have organized and produced 21 Hollywood-level masterclasses from here. How is that possible? Well, we partnered with a LA-based production studio, XYZ Films, to offer free of charge masterclasses for the industry professionals in the region. Of course, it's open to all Finnish film and television producers, professionals. In 2025, we noted that the market at that time, the market had changed hugely. I mean, we are working in completely different environment than what it was in 2017, 2018. So what did we do? We incorporated gaming, video gaming ecosystem, part of Film Tampere's operations. So under the umbrella of Film Tampere nowadays, we also have video gaming. We have a great heritage in technology when it comes to Microsoft and those companies, so you can connect the dots that we kind of have it there already in place. And of course, Nordic is stronger than only Finland. Film Tampere is part of Nordic Film Commission's network that consists of 19 Nordic Film Commissions promoting their locations and their offerings. And also with that network, we have set the sustainability standards for more ecological film and television making. So that's one concrete example what kind of work we do. If you're interested to know about the Nordic Film Commissions, go have a look at the nordicfilmcommissions.com, or if you want to know in details how to do productions in Tampere, that's the QR code for that. Unfortunately, I don't have that much time to go over all the details, but if you're interested, please take a photo of that. But as we are talking about audiovisual, I think it's enough me talking, and let's actually experience something audiovisual. This is Film Tampere's showreel of 2026. Thank you. About the best practices, I'd like to introduce you the three of them. A lot of stuff that we discarded, a lot of stuff that we learned that is not working, but I want to introduce you the three of them that we think that actually work. About the discretionary production incentive process, triple helix upskilling model, and phenomenon building. So, the incentive. How many of you know what does it mean? Production incentive, like cash rebate, tax rebate. Have you ever heard? Okay, good. So production incentive is a reimbursement that a producer or a filmmaker can apply from a region or from a country. In Tampere, we have this reimbursement system up to 15% of the costs that occur within the region. And in our case, let's see if this laser works. Woo! In our case, this is our region. In addition to that, we have a national tax rebate system as well, which is a reimbursement up to 25%. There are some more strict criteria in the national level, but I will not go into details with that, but happy to talk later if you're interested. But in a best scenario, a producer can get up to 14% reimbursement of the production costs in Finland, in Tampere region specifically. It applies to pre-production, post-production, pre-production, production, and post-production. Those are the phases of a feature, drama, documentary, or any narrative audiovisual content. But what is the best practice here? It's not only that we have implemented this system. These kind of systems are out there in Europe, many. I would say almost every country, according to my knowledge, has this very similar system with different percentage, with different nuances, of course. But the thing is that in 2018, when we kicked off and established Film Tampere, we started as a first-come, first basis. So what did that mean? The faster you are, most likely you will get granted. Okay, so at some point we ran out of money because very many found this very, very practical, efficient, and helpful. The producers in the region can apply this, and also producers outside. However, the costs has to occur within the region. So what we did in 2024, we made the process discretionary. So instead of, I will put this very black and white, instead of just giving the money for the fastest, we could actually focus and select the project more properly that we focus on. And we created a criteria that is based on international elements of the project, regional economical impact, and image and PR elements. So on those three elements, we based on our discretionary process. And it has been very successful so far. And we have around 11 to 15 productions annually that we are able to grant with the current incentive budget. But that was a wise thing to do. Here is the Tampere upskilling model in the audiovisual industry. So this is the second best practice. It might look a bit chaotic, but bear with me, I try to be very simple here. So like I told you, we have the talents, and let's see the next slide just quickly so you see. This is the amount of audiovisual training and education that we have here. On a vocational level and on a university level. So it's a lot, okay? Let's go back. So we didn't have a model that we could in this region have an understanding what kind of skills we have in the space of audiovisual, how many talents we have, what is the maturity, how much we have senior levels, how much we have entry levels. That was a little bit of guess, a little bit data, a little bit of guessing. And most importantly, our clients are the company owners, like producers and such. They didn't know that information. So we needed to create a model to basically get this information accessible, but also have it systematically somehow. So this represents the educational institution, and this is something that you can apply in your region and with your partners, of course, depending if you have this kind of organization and operations in your country, city, or region. But educational institutions, for piloting this, we picked Tampere University of Applied Sciences and Tredu, city's vocational school, because they had the most amount of audiovisual education. Then city region, of course, well, we have the 7 plus Tampere as a region, and the private sector plus employers. And as you can see, we also have their YLE, so it's not only the private sector, all possible employers in the industry. We selected a couple of partners, Akun Tehdas, Akun Factory, Legenda, that is the biggest audiovisual production service company in here, and these schools. And as a regional development agency, Business Tampere, because Film Tampere is part of Business Tampere. But now, what is important? What is the insight here, really? I'm going to spill the tea. This task for A is very important. Not every single teacher is that interested to do something outside their daily work, okay? I mean, it was crucial to find the right people to sit in the task force A from these educators. I'm very thankful for them. And then the task force B, that was Film Tampere. It can be something else than a film commission, but in our case, it worked. And we, as you can see that little fire emoji there, we started to communicate a lot and have a roundtable conversation so that we knew what is the material that is coming out of the educational system. And we then transferred the data to the employers and vice versa. We got feedback from, these are just example companies there, feedback from them, what they're lacking of. And with the help of the system, we created 5 further educations here and staffed dozens of projects here. So it has helped, and we were lucky and privileged to present this model also in the Creative Week in Amsterdam in 2024. Of course, it's not bulletproof. If there is not work, there is not work, and there is no model to use. So you understand that. But when you have the volume and the volume is increasing within your region, my highly recommendation would be that create some sort of a triple helix form. Just to show you an example of how do we help with upskilling when it comes to already, let's say, senior level or more experienced talents. We have annually from 3 to 5 times a year these XYZ master classes that are free of charge that I already mentioned you, and we usually attach them with the most prestigious film festivals that we have in Finland. We collaborate with the Finnish Film Festival, Finnish Film Affairs, and Tampere Film Festival, which is one of the most acknowledged short film festivals in Europe. And there you can see, oh, sorry, let's take back, I want to show you. There you can see Petri Jokiranta, who's the producer of the famous Sisu feature film that Tampere was offering the VFX and post-production work. We are very proud of that. It was the second watched European film in the US in 2024. And the third best practice is phenomenon building. So the thing is that when we put up Film Tampere, there wasn't any model how to communicate with press, how to communicate with the distributing companies who usually owns in a way, owns the rights or make the call when it comes to any press or media interaction. We had to adjust our agreements and think about the legislation between the projects that we help, and also kind of teach the city, because of course the city thought that, hey, we're supporting this project, why can't we tell anything and anywhere at any time about this? And it's a very different ball game when you work with European projects, but when you work with Hollywood projects, it's another ball game. So we needed to build a model there. And what did we do? We tightened our relationship with media, also including YLE. We updated our agreement base so that when we make the agreement with the projects that we decide to support them with the cash rebate system, there are already some lines in the agreement already where all of these media coverage is already agreed on. But first we didn't have this, because the thing is that when you operate on a regional level and not on a country level, there's no one, there's no one that vocal about industry updates. Of course, there's news and so on, but who would be interested in the regional industry news? And here we have just a couple of examples. We had Hollywood stars Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, Timothy Olyphant here in Tampere 2024, December, shooting Over Your Dead Body, that launched at South by Southwest. We had the first Hollywood film in Finland. It was shot in Tampere, starring Aaron Paul. And now this is our perhaps most relevant project, a big Japanese-Finnish police series, 8-episode, launched in Japan, made a record at Wow, which is a distribution company, and we're expecting to air that in December this year through Heinonen Media. And just as kind of a concrete example also what a phenomenon building means to us, we had the great chance to host international Emmy Award jurors in August 24, and we hosted these excellent TV and media executives in Tampere for 2 days while they did jury work. And of course, we selected the category to be sports documentary as a city of sports and home of hockey. But let's take a couple of steps back and reflect on the fact that during all that time when we designed and implemented those practices, the landscape changed drastically throughout that. And the pandemic made it sure that we cannot continue like nothing has happened. And unofficially within our team, we've said that kind of Film Tampere 2.0 was born around 2024. We've talked about the media landscape, you know about the media landscape, but there's two specific reasons why I wanted to show you this. This is by Ivan Shapiro. He is a media consultant and a film producer, and we met at the Emmys. He does these kind of graphics and posts about this, and I asked his permission to use this to kind of illustrate the situation here. So the first thing is that it directly shows you what kind of players we have right now in the media universe. This is very accurate. This is the media universe May 26. And as you can see, or if you don't, we have players like Apple, we have Alphabet, we have Microsoft, we have Nvidia, companies that also mentioned in the previous presentations. None of these companies are really traditional creative companies, but they're in the media universe. And the second thing is that unfortunately, it also shows that not too many European, let alone Nordic, let alone Finnish companies in the media universe. This is a worth of 3.1 trillion market. That growth is increasingly driven by the creator economy, advertising-led models, and eventicized entertainment. And when we're talking about creator economy, I mean, we're talking about an economy where content can be experienced directly from the creator. There are lesser middlemen in between. So, to the principles. I'm going to walk you through of rethinking your identity, focusing on your true strengths, and how to learn to scale impact. Hopefully this will be helpful for you, or at least inspirational. So rethinking your identity. We keep saying this thing that we are not a traditional film commission. What is traditionally expected from a film commission is heavily promoting locations, being present in a booth at some festival or conference. And to be frank, it's very place-bound thinking. It's not an issue when you're in Dubai. It's not an issue when you have white sand, when you have the sea, when you have the metropolitan cities filled with millions of people, absolutely, or beautiful Norway. And congratulations for outstanding success at the Oscars this year. But we needed to really rethink that. Okay, what can we do? We really needed to think that who we really need to be instead of who we're expected to be. So we had to leverage the market data and feedback from our ideal customers instead of seeking to established practices. We knew not everybody's going to be happy, but we also knew what the ecosystem and market was and still is. We knew that incorporating gaming ecosystem can evoke controversy and also excitement. But we decided to rethink the identity and not stick with the traditionals and the conventions around. Secondly, focus on your true strength. So, like mentioned, we are absolutely not good at everything. I think none of us is. But very often, and I don't think that this is a media thing, but I think that very often we confuse our ideal self and the real self, if you get what I'm saying. And we somehow be a bit hesitant at focusing and just relying that what we know and do very, very well, it's enough, but we just need to focus on that and invest on that. But sometimes we go all over the place. I don't know if that happens in your everyday lives, but definitely in the show business that happens easily. So we identified our true strengths, which was the production incentive process. We knew that there are incentives out there up to 60%. There are incentives out there with no gap. I mean, we have a gap. We have a budget there. There are countries like Iceland where there's no gap. So the competition is crucial. So we knew that our process, it's a payback within 10 days, and we can make a decision within a couple of weeks, which is very, very fast. And producers like liquidity. So Finnish trust and CISO and technology combined was the strength. Secondly was post-production expertise. I can proudly say that our post-production companies here are the leading in the Nordics, really. They are Netflix vendors, and they are the closest to the media universe that I just showed you, and part of those ecosystems there. And of course, I could not say that the support of the city of Tampere is undeniable. And I'm not only talking about the money, I mean, it would be so easy. I'm talking about the fact that the city of Tampere has strategically put creative industry, with audiovisual being the flagship of it, in the very center of their strategy. That's what I mean. That's not the situation in everywhere, unfortunately. But we are very, very pleased to have that trust. And thirdly, learn to scale. I also, in the beginning of this speech, I mentioned that we are a very tiny team, Film Tampere. So, like written here, the smaller the player, the more focused the impact strategy needs to be. Costs are being cut, operations are being streamlined and optimized. I think you can probably relate to this fact. So we needed to be creative. I'm not even brave enough to expose our marketing budget because it's so small. So we needed to kind of learn the tricks here and there. We needed to create digital influence, build a recognizable brand narrative, and of course, strengthen personal expert brands. We have great experts, put them out there on the social media, and develop strategic global networks. Like I also mentioned in the beginning, it's crucial. You know, if you think about the last time that you bought a product or service or maybe visited a country, didn't you rely on a recommendation? Didn't you rely that someone else said that it's good? That's the idea or the motivation building these partnerships around the globe. And greetings from the Finnish Gaming Award last night. I met this great game developer, and one gentleman next to me asked him that, "Do you know Fanny? Do you know?" And he was like, "No, I don't know her, but she's on my LinkedIn all the time." And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry," but definitely seems like it's this digital narrative is working. To summarize these principles and questions for further reflection for you as well, rethink your identity. Who do you need to be right now? If you think about the surroundings, you think about the conditions on a micro level or micro level. Really think about the need. Focus on your true strengths. What do you do so well that it feels almost effortless? What is non-negotiable in your daily businesses? And learn to scale impact. Of course, the lucky ones here who are swimming and diving in money, of course, maybe you don't have to be inspired by this tool. But really, which partnerships will you need to build and sustain to remain relevant in the years ahead? Very often in the negotiation rooms with our dear colleagues, we focus at what we can do, only we, and we forget about to, lift our heads and think about hey, we have these partners. How could they perhaps expand and help and support? This photo is a little bit of confidential material, so if you take any photos or recording of that, please do not share. I wanted to show this for you because I know that there might be some organizations that would be interested to collaborate or think about some joint services there. So that's why I wanted to share. And it's always interesting to hear, okay, what is coming next? Here are 4 things I just want to quickly and on a very general level share with you. So the ones that are there are more mature, and here more in a very early development phase. So we are ideating and planning Nordic AI infrastructure for AV industry together with Baltic partners. We have one extremely good Swedish partner there with whom we are preparing this. But if this resonates, happy to talk further. Transmedia as an IP strategy, that is something that is already being matured and developed further. We have our first transmedia IP already in pipeline called Alma. It's about 16 years ago in Second World War with superpowers. We are developing a PC game and a feature film simultaneously, starting with the game first. And it's already, the game is already supported by the creative media and a couple of Finnish public institutions. And the film script is also supported by the Finnish Film Institution. And now we're looking for investors or financing for the gaming prototype. But if transmedia space interests you or reaching younger audiences, happy to talk. Then gaming ecosystem agreement with India, with regional gaming clusters. Very early stage, but conversations started in the beginning of this year, and of course we have EU's and India's trade agreement in mind, which will step in action in the beginning of next year, if everything goes smoothly. Of course, one of the things is that India has marked Finland as their top 3 benchmark countries when it comes to gaming. So that's why it's very relevant for us to acknowledge India and look for possibilities. And then 4, strengthen the international focus on the incentive. So definitely we're going with the focus to attracting international projects and also elevating the local talents and local IPs for the world to explore and of course utilize. So definitely continuing on that path. But that's it. I want to thank you for your time and interest. I'm on LinkedIn. Happy to connect there. You can find the QR code there, and thank you very much. I think it's time for comments and questions.
Thank you, Fanny. Please, before lunch, we still have time for questions, and Fanny's work here in Tampere area is highly visible and really interesting. So please, if you have any questions, we'll have time for a few. Let's see if we have the Mentimeter.
What about season 3 in Tampere again? I need to give
well, that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, need to give a call to Jalmari Helander, who's the director of that film. That would be nice. We're working on something with him, something very, very great currently with Jalmari, so I'm gonna leave it there. Did you support help regular from the capital region? Did we get some help from the capital area? Am I understanding this question correctly? But yeah, we helped productions from Helsinki to locate Tampere. Yeah.
Where does it all start from if you want to have a international production in Tampere area? Where do you start?
Oh my. Basically my whole presentation
you just
was
call
about
Hollywood or
and the most important thing is to have testimonials. Producer, testimonials is everything. You can do the most amazing pitch deck, you can have all the things there on paper, but none of them come if you don't have the study cases. That's something I've learned.
Yeah. But if you're starting from...
Oh, we have more. How would you advise other countries to utilize the production incentive in their own countries? It depends on if you already have that system or if you are in early stage. If you don't have that system, make sure that you have alignment with the politics and you have you build together the strategy with the city or the region or the country, because there will be times when there will be times of cuts, there will be hard times, so you must inform that this is a long-term investment. That would be my advice. And if you already have that scheme in place, benchmark and communicate with other commissions, so you probably avoid the pitfalls. How important are the A-list Hollywood names seen in Tampere for your marketing? Marketing-wise, yeah, important. My personal interests, there are more interesting things than Hollywood stars. But seems like people are very excited about them. It's a good thing, of course. What kind of cooperation with public service, like Wiley? Yeah, well, one thing is that we were informed by Wiley also the requirements that they need. I mean, public media has so many, how to say, micro credentials when it comes to talents in comparison to, for example, the independent side. So that's why it was very important that some titles and some roles are actually quite different on a private side and what it is on the public media. So that is one of the things. And of course, I mean, studios. Of course, we've supported productions that are Wiley's. I mean, Song of My Life is one of the biggest music hits that is being filmed in Tohloppi studios. Those are the obvious ones. So, of course, when we facilitate and support and pay the production incentive for Wiley projects, but those are like very obvious examples. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like we're done with the questions.
And now we're going to thank Fanny Heinonen
Thank
for
you.
your presentation
Thank you.
and for your questions.